Dear friends, I am Nikhil Kumar. I am a professor of English in the University Department of English of Veer Kunwar Singh University, Ara, in the state of Bihar, in India. Today I wish to explore Sri Aurobindo's sonnet, Cosmic Consciousness. On a study of his poetic works, especially his monumental epic Savitri, we discover that he is a born yogi. He manifests the transcendent supramental consciousness. It is the consciousness which exists beyond the plane of creation. This very transcendent consciousness has brought the creation into existence. This is evident when we study his other prose works, such as the Life Divine, the Synthesis of Yoga, Letters on Yoga, and so on. In fact, we come to realize that he is the embodiment of the supramental consciousness. The supramental consciousness manifests in him. More to say, he is the first man of the earth who was born with the supramental consciousness. This thing we shall realize when we explore this particular sonnet entitled The Cosmic Consciousness. In one of his letters on yoga, Sri Aurobindo says that consciousness is the fundamental thing in existence. It comes to assume the form of electron. It assumes the forms of photon, atom, and matter. And out of this matter, life evolves, mind evolves. The very yogic vision of Sri Aurobindo that consciousness assumes the forms of electron, photon, atom, etc., is very much affirmed by the quantum theory in the realm of modern physics. The quantum theory had discovered the existence of what it calls probability wave at the subatomic level of matter. At the subatomic level of matter, it was discovered by the scientist that particle converts into wave and wave into particle. The wave which is found to be existing in this subatomic plane of matter is not a three-dimensional wave. In fact, it is a tendency. Such a conversion of particle into wave and wave into particle takes place as a result of the change which takes place in the mind of the experimenter. When the experimenter looks at the particle, goes into its deeper depths, and finds that the particle has got the features of wave, the very particle converts into wave. And when he concentrates his mind on the wave and finds that the wave has a particle feature, very magically the wave converts into the state of or into the form of particle. So it has been discovered by the scientists that such a conversion and reconversion takes place as a result of the change of the thought which takes place in the mind of the experimenter. So a well-known British physicist calls that there is a mind stuff at the base of particle because all the changes are the resultant effect of the changes taking place in the thought of the mind of the experimenter. So what happens that when the experimenter thinks, a tendency develops, a tendency is formed, and that very tendency congeals into electron, photon, atom, and finally matter. This very tendency the scientists have termed the probability wave, because the tendency is not a three-dimensional, it is something which exists beyond the plane of physicality. So it's crystal clear that it is consciousness which causes the formation of this tendency which is called probability wave, and the very consciousness, the probability wave comes to be or congeals into electron photon. So in fact it is consciousness which becomes probability wave, it is consciousness which becomes electron, photon, matter, and finally this very consciousness assumes the state of or the form of matter. And the biological sciences have discovered that out of this matter life evolved. So in fact this life which is found to have taken birth for the first time in the form of unicellular body is consciousness itself. So the very evolution of life in the form of cell is the evolution of the consciousness itself. Later on it is mind which evolves or which emerges. So this mind is a higher form of consciousness itself. So in evolution we discover that this separativity moves towards the integrality. When life is born in the form of cell, matter undergoes an evolutionary change. Matter comes to be in the form of the cell itself. Cell is nothing but an evolved form of matter. So with the coming of life, the very matter undergoes evolutionary change and it comes in the form of cell. So the evolution continues. In course of evolution, multicellular bodies evolve. There is plant cell, there is animal cell. So what happens that with the coming of the higher, lower one is integrated. When mind evolves, when mind emerges in the person of man, the very matter undergoes change, because the body which man has got is an evolved form of matter. The life which we find in the mind of man is an evolved form of the consciousness which we find in the cell, or we find in the life of animals, birds, etc. So, on a closer examination, we find that the separativity moves towards the integrality. When we enter into the domain of mind and visualize it, we can very well divide mind into two parts. We can make a broad division of mind into two parts. The lower half we have got on the plane of mind, and the lower hemisphere or the lower part of the mind is the intellectual mind. Or in other words, intellectual mind is at the summit of the lower half of the world of mind. And beyond this plane of this very intellectual mind, there exists the world of what we call spiritual mind. Because when we rise evolutionarily from the plane of intellectual mind to the higher planes, we have the realization of the existence of one divine. So the plane of mind where we have the realization of the existence of one divine is called spiritual mind consciousness. As a result of the realization of the existence of one divine, the very separativity of consciousness begins to decay. So let us note here that so long as we are on the plane of the intellectual mind consciousness and the planes of mind consciousness existing below it, we are under the gravitational pull of the separativity of consciousness. This is what Sri Aurobindo has discovered. But the moment we have the realization of the existence of one divine, the very separativity begins to decay. Sri Aurobindo has further discovered that there exist four planes of spiritual consciousness. He terms them higher mind. Higher mind is the first plane of spiritual mind consciousness when we look from the point of view of evolution. Then there comes the illumined mind consciousness. The third plane of spiritual mind consciousness is the overmind consciousness. And the fourth plane of the spiritual mind consciousness, which is the summit of consciousness, that is the overmind consciousness. And when we rise evolutionarily beyond the plane of overmind consciousness, we enter into the world of the integral consciousness, which Sri Aurobindo calls supramental consciousness. It is the transcendent divine consciousness which has brought the creation into existence. So when we come into the world of mind and rise to the plane of overmind consciousness, we find that the very separativity of consciousness finally decays and comes into the world of overmind consciousness. That is to say, all the smaller selves which were in existence due to the separativity of consciousness are dissolved. So egocentricity is dissolved when one comes evolutionarily to the plane of the overmind consciousness. Sri Aurobindo says that this overmind consciousness is the cosmic consciousness, and this cosmic consciousness is aware of its transcendent origin, that is to say, the transcendent supramental divine consciousness. Therefore, he says in the first line of the cosmic consciousness that I have wrapped the wide world in my wider self. This is the first line, opening line of the sonnet Cosmic Consciousness. So, because of this decay of this separativity of consciousness, the smaller selves are dissolved and an individual comes to be a universal man. That is to say, the cosmic consciousness is the plane of consciousness where separativity comes to end. In fact, because the overmind consciousness is also a mental consciousness, it is also under the principle of division. So separativity is here, but this very separativity is a separation from the transcendent integral divine consciousness. But this overmind consciousness, which is the cosmic consciousness, is aware of its transcendent origin. But on the plane of cosmic consciousness, which is the overmind consciousness, there is a universal self, there is a cosmic self, and all the selves which exist on the lower planes of consciousness come to evolve into this cosmic consciousness. In the second line, Sri Aurobindo speaks of the existence of time and space. Let us try to know what this time is, what this space is. Time is a gap between two events. Space is a gap between the two objects, or a gap between the 2 points of an object. When we look into this gap is in fact the separativity itself, the very separative principle of the essential consciousness, the essential transcendent integral consciousness, brings time and space into existence. Time and space are the manifestations of the separative principle of consciousness. So, in fact, the universal mind, when it tries to reveal the higher truth, it speaks as if it is the one transcendent supramental consciousness. The supramental consciousness is the integral consciousness. When we say that mind is the divided consciousness, very logically, the consciousness which exists beyond the plane of the divided consciousness comes to be the integral consciousness. The very term supramental speaks of the integral. When we split the word supramental into two parts, we have two words, supra and mental. Supra means beyond, above. So the consciousness which exists beyond the plane of mental is the supramental consciousness. Means it is the integral consciousness. So integral consciousness comes to be the plane of timelessness and spacelessness, out of which time and space originate. Vedic rishis have discovered the truth of the birth of this very creation, which they express very poetically in Sanskrit. Eko aham bahusyam prajayam. I am one. The divine is one. It is one integral. Bahusyam, become many. This one integral divine comes to be many. In the form of many, the creation comes into existence. Prajayam, yet remain the same. When one divine comes to be many, it doesn't lose its sovereign oneness. So the one divine comes to be many, bringing its separative principle into existence, as a result of which the creation comes into existence. First of all, the plane of mind is created, and it is the overmind consciousness which is the summit of spiritual consciousness from the point of view of evolution. This very overmind consciousness is created from the point of view of descent of the one divine. This overmind into this phenomenal world, this very overmind consciousness comes to be the first plane of spiritual mind consciousness. So, the moment separative principle of the transcendent integral consciousness comes into operation, time and space are born. When we go to the lower planes of consciousness, that is to say, intuitive mind consciousness, illumined mind consciousness, higher mind, and again when we go down and enter into the world of intellectual mind, and again on so many planes of mental consciousness existing beyond below the plane of intellectual mind, we feel that we are under the very strong grip of the movement of time and movement of space. In fact, it is the grip of the separativity of consciousness which becomes very stronger and stronger when we go down. In fact, the very phenomenon of the one divine coming to be many is the phenomenon which Sri Aurobindo terms involution. And this very divine consciousness descends in course of its involution, and it becomes finally matter, what we call matter. And then again under the pressure of involution, evolution takes place. So as a result of evolution, that is to say, as a result of our evolutionary ascent, we rise to the plane of this overmind consciousness, which is cosmic consciousness, where we find that everything has evolved to be the one cosmic consciousness. So man's limited individual consciousness evolves to be this cosmic consciousness, this overmind consciousness, and everything comes to be the one integral whole. This is what we find in the first line of the cosmic consciousness. And the very time and space, which are the result of the operation of the separativity of consciousness, come to be one integral in the state of what we call time and timelessness and spacelessness on the plane of one transcendent integral. In fact, the overmind consciousness is able to visualize this truth, thus time and space come to be one integral whole. That is why in the second line the poet says that the cosmic consciousness is aware of this evolution of time and space into one. Therefore, he says that time and space my spirit sing are. I am the god and demon, ghost and elf, I am the wind's speed and blazing star. All nature is the nursling of my care, I am the struggle and the eternal rest. The world's joy thrilling runs through me, I bear the sorrow of millions in my lonely breast. And so on. If we study the entire poem Cosmic Consciousness from the point of view of this descent of one divine, or to say the becoming of the one transcendent in the form of many, the meaning of all the lines are crystal clear. Once again, I would like to recapitulate here or say here that biological sciences have discovered that life evolves out of matter, mind evolves out of matter, higher planes of consciousness evolves out of matter because they are already involved in matter. So there is a phenomenon inverse to evolution which precedes this evolution, and Sri Aurobindo calls it involution. This involution is nothing but the coming of one transcendent into the being or into the form of many, which is in fact the creation itself. So the nature which we see here on this terrestrial existence is in fact the manifestation of this separativity. Sri Aurobindo says that nature herself is evolving. Nature is under the clutch of the separativity of consciousness. So it will evolve to the higher planes where the very separativity of consciousness is diminished. When Sri Aurobindo says in the first line of the second stanza, all nature is the nursling of my care, apparently it means that nature is nourished by the higher consciousness. Let us come back to the scientific finding of the probability wave in the quantum theory. When we come here, the picture is very much clear. We have seen that as a result of the change of the thought in the mind of the experimenter, a tendency comes into formation, and this tendency congeals into electron photon, which finally becomes atom and again becomes matter. So it is consciousness which is moving. So let us examine the consciousness of the mind of the experimenter. So experimenter is a man of intellectual mind, and intellectual mind is the divided consciousness, it is the separative consciousness. Intellectual mind is under the gravitational pull of the separativity of consciousness. But where there is the separativity of consciousness, there is the simultaneous existence of the integrality of the consciousness at the base of the very separativity of consciousness in man. This is scientifically evident when we look at the phenomenon that the sun ray is divided into 7 colors when it passes through the prism. So when it is divided into the 7 colors, that means separative principle comes into existence. But with the coming of the separative principle into the existence, in the manifestation of 7 colors, at the base this sun ray continues to exist, that is to say the integrality exists. Similarly, at the base of this separativity of the mental consciousness, there exists the integral consciousness, that is the transcendent consciousness, that is the divine consciousness. So this divine consciousness is at the base which governs the entire terrestrial existence. It nourishes, it sustains all the separative phenomenon, all the phenomena. So whatever is going on here, everything is finally governed by this transcendent integral supramental divine consciousness. So when we study the poem in this very light, it's very clear that it is a Leela a dance of the divine consciousness. On the plane of the cosmic consciousness, overmind consciousness, whatever the phenomena of consciousness we find on all the planes of existence are finally a play of a leela of a divine, of the one transcendent divine consciousness. That's all. Thank you very much.